Hi everyone, I am Ashley Hughes, the art teacher from Gilbertsville-Mount Upton, otherwise known as the Crazy Plastic Lady, who has been running our plastic recycling contest for the last couple of months as well as last year. So we've had a few questions come in about what is recyclable versus what is not, because it's generally called a plastic film recycling contest, but not all plastic is created equal. So I wanted to go through some things that are not recyclable versus what are and what that difference is. And the main formula that I want you to remember is that if it's a bag or something you can fit your hand into and stretch while you pull it, then it is recyclable. So this here is a bag. However, when I'm pulling on it, it doesn't stretch. And notice that crinkly sound as well. So if it tears like that and doesn't stretch nicely, it is not recyclable. And if there's a plastic that you're unsure of, one of the things that you should remember is when in doubt, throw it out. And as an environmentalist, I also have that urge to recycle everything. However, that's not necessarily good. And if there's too much cross-contamination in a batch of recyclables, oftentimes, unfortunately, they throw the entire batch out. So while we may be doing our part for the environment, it ends up not coming out in the wash like we want it to. So a few examples of things that we can take or cannot take. This one, spinach bag, same thing, it doesn't stretch, but one of the things that we'll be confused on is there is that recyclable symbol on the back. However, this is not a plastic that we can take through this program. It may be acceptable in another program, but not with this one. So we're also getting a lot of like candy wrappers, things like that, so same thing. They won't stretch, so if it's something that came around a candy bar or a bunch of little small candies, usually we cannot take those. Chip bags, unfortunately, are not acceptable through this program. I know that Cheryl Zara, our old gym teacher, used to run that, but unfortunately we can't take those. Yes, this is a bag, and yes, it kind of stretches, and it is made out of very fine plastic, but unfortunately, netting that clementines or oranges come in, we can't take. We can't take any kind of bottle rings like this or thin plastic like lids. I've gotten a few plastic bottles which we can't take. These food bags that tend to be pretty thick and have those zippers, also cannot take those, sadly. And this one doesn't stretch either. And then very small food wrappers like this we tend to get a lot of, which unfortunately you can tell these tear very easily, so they don't fit that general stretchy formula. And fruit bags, like what these nectarines came in, don't stretch. So down here, I've got an example of 2 broccoli bags that may or may not be recyclable. This one here, not stretchy at all. It makes that crinkly sound that indicates that it won't stretch. This one, however, does stretch. So this could be recycled, to my knowledge. I'm hoping that I'm not steering you wrong. So I would put this in, but again, when in doubt, throw it out. And last but not least, down here, I've got a Ziploc bag. Yes, from the flyer, you know that Ziploc bags are recyclable. However, this one is quite dirty and covered in food. So any recycled items that are dirty are not acceptable, and those also tend to get thrown away by the recycling companies, unfortunately. And also remember that we've got elementary student council members picking this stuff up, so we want to stay as clean and healthy as possible. And we also don't want to attract any critters. Here we've got some big bags. Another way to tell if something is not recyclable is if it's that woven tarpy material. So yes, this doesn't stretch, but anything that's got that woven texture is not. So even though this is a nice big bag and would bring in a lot of weight for our kiddos that are trying to win the contest for their class, unfortunately we can't take it. However, larger bags like these that have wood pellets absolutely are stretchable. Even though you do have to use a little bit of muscle to stretch them, this is totally acceptable. A few other items that can seem questionable are case overwrap, like for water bottles. So this is again that thicker plastic that is occasionally harder to stretch. Perfectly fine. This bag here doesn't have a recycling logo on it, but it does stretch. I can fit my hand in it. I would count this, but if you're on the fence about it, throw it out. These fruit bags, it stretches. You can fit your hand in it. It's good. And as always, those grocery bags that everybody has a bag full of in their house. And attached with this post, we will have this flyer of other things that are acceptable as well. So thank you very much for your support and your participation. We truly appreciate it as a community, and our kids are having a blast with this contest. Thank you.